guys, and welcome to another episode of Convention Confessional. I am your host, Katy Hunt, your tour guide through the good, the bad, the ugly, the mysterious, the scary, the horror, the hilarious, the pretty much any kind of story imaginable. We are free range here. Nothing can be held back. And today, speaking of not holding back, I have the lovely Danielle with me. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, everyone. Hello.
It's funny.
Thanks for having
I
me.
was just saying to her before we got recording, I was like, I don't know why I haven't asked Danielle to come on the show yet, because if a girl's got a story, this one does.
I have a few.
Few, 100,000. This is like episode 1 of like 25, probably.
Oh my gosh. I know, I'm excited. Thank you for having me again. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't do a show without having you come tell a couple stories. And the best part about it is like you're coming on here and I have an idea of what you might talk about, again, because we kind of discussed before we started recording, but the best guests are the ones that come on and I have no clue what we're gonna like hit up. So
Yeah. All
the
right.
floor is yours.
Okay. I've been cosplaying for a very long time, since I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
My first Comic Con ever was Dragon Con. So for those that know Dragon Con, you can know like how crazy of a first convention that could be.
Right, like overstimulating.
Like, yeah, particularly like at 16 years old, I went with my mom. So like, and that's like a big drinking convention, which I didn't realize till years later, going with other friends. At 19 years old, went, and then I realized, oh, this is a drinking convention, and then I partook in it when I was 21 years old.
Sure. Sure.
Just for clarification.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, you wait till you were 21. I know you did. You honest little thing.
100%.
Yeah, totally.
But I mean, Dragon Con is, I think, the convention that I always made a point to go to every year, just because it was like that wild, and the stories and the things that you saw from Dragon Con were amazing. Because the thing is, you go, it's Labor Day weekend, but most people go on Thursday and stay there till Monday or Tuesday. So it's pretty intense. You're there for quite a long time in Atlanta, in the heat, during Labor Day weekend. And it's like 5 hotels in downtown Atlanta. So it's pretty intense. It's the best convention I've ever attended, but it is wild.
It's a lot. Yeah.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, but it is just in general a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, my friends, a couple people have come on, they've told like a couple of their Dragon Con stories. Getting stuck in like elevator and
Yeah. I mean, the other thing too is the elevators there, like if you stay in the Marriott, the elevators are really cool because they're glass and you can see everything going on in the convention. So like you're coming down from whatever floor and you just see this sea of people and you're like, okay, I'm about to enter this sea of people and just like get lost. And you always have to, I mean, it's very crowded, so it's always like to find your friends, you have to be like, okay, I'm near the stormtrooper. No, the other stormtrooper. No, like you have to be so specific. Finding people can be a little tough, especially if you go to like the Pulse Bar or any of the parties there.
Right. All the parties, rooftop parties, everything else. Yeah.
Everywhere. Yes, I've been going to Dragon Con for a while. I remember I would just attend Dragon Con, but maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, I actually worked Dragon Con for the first time as a celebrity handler. And let me tell you, I thought I could do Dragon Con the same while still working the convention, and that was not the case.
Why do you hate yourself?
Yeah, because like in my head I was like, oh, it'll be fine. But like I would stay up and party till like 5 a.m. and then they're like, okay, so you have to be at the table, be up at 8. We set up the table, get the actors out by like 9. So I, I ran on like 3 hours of sleep. And then you would like, again, this is starting Friday. So by like the Monday, I actually, because Monday morning's a little more chill, but I basically went under the actor I was working with. I went under his table and just like catnap for a solid hour Monday morning because I couldn't handle it. And I took that whole week off of work because I was so exhausted. So I never did that again, where I like fully worked Dragon Con and fully partied at Dragon Con, because that was the worst combination.
That seems like a silly thing to do.
I was silly. You live and you learn, you know.
I can't see you crawling under a table and just be like, just keep signing stuff. If you need me, I'm down here. Just shh.
Oh, totally. And the best part too is like he would have conversations with me, kind of in between people there, and like I could hear people come up and they're like, "Who are you talking to? Is there someone under your table?" I'm like, yeah, actually, there is.
See, that's when you have like the zombie hand come out and reach out for people.
Yeah, don't mind her. She's just napping.
Right, just passing snacks under there.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, exactly.
So you worked with celebrities. You've done costume contests all over the place.
I've done it all. I've been on every side of the convention scheme, I think, which is really fun. I've done the cosplay. I've done like cosplay contests. I've done it like more seriously. I've also done it where like, I've done really silly costumes. Like the bunny version of the Margarita Man from Jurassic Park. Like, I've done a good combination of serious, like Danielle Barbarack from Ever After, which took 7 months of work, to like, Googling and finding the dumbest shit to cosplay.
Like sexy Jar Jar Binks.
That one's gonna haunt me
for the rest of your life.
Sexy Jar Jar Binks is one that I have done.
Yep.
I haven't done that at a convention, so I don't know how that would go over. I've mostly just done it for TikTok.
Why do I think you had done that at Dragon Con at least once?
So the plan was to do it for KatsuCon of 2020, but the mask did not arrive on time. So that was going to be my drinking costume.
Obviously.
So KatsuCon this year, or next year, watch out, or else I'm gonna horrify your life, your dreams.
Thing of nightmares.
Yeah, it really. That's the thing, is like I go from like really beautiful hand detailed costumes to like just dumb shit. So it's a nice balance, I guess.
Like it's all about balance.
Yeah, so I do that, and then I also like work with actors, so it's it's really fun.
But not in those kind of costumes, though.
Well, okay, so not in the costumes. I don't work with the actors in cosplay, but there are a lot of times where I will surprise the actors I work with in cosplays. So, for instance, like I worked with Bonnie Wright, who plays Ginny Weasley in the Harry Potter films. So I actually brought her down for her photo ops, and then I surprised her with a cosplay of Ginny from the Harry Potter movies, and we did a photo op together. So I won't like work in costumes, but I will like change into them really quick for photo ops.
Right.
So, it's a nice, and it's like always fun too, because I get really excited about it, and they also get really excited about it. So it is like a really fun combination.
Yeah, I found that like when you meet actors in costumes that relate to something they did, like you don't know how it's gonna go. You're either like, this is gonna be really weird to them, or they're really gonna love it, and 9 times out of 10 they're like all for it.
Totally. I think too, like a lot of times I'm like that person who's sitting in the photo op room and just kind of making sure like everything kind of goes smoothly, and it's really amazing to see all the different people that come in and how excited that act, because sometimes I try to like record the reactions and like really nice moments like that. So it is also like fun to see that, but also have been that person before. I really like that shift that I have been able to do both sides, because I kind of see it from both angles now, which is really nice.
Yeah. I did some guest relations for AAC in New Hampshire for a few years. And same thing, it's like, you want to get a picture with the actors, but at the same time it's like you're on your shift and you're watching all these people interact with like their favorite actors and things. It's really nice. Like it's fun to see like them get so excited to like meet people. And
oh yeah, I mean, it's it's just, it's really fun. I mean, I was just talking about, my friend just went to a Comic-Con this weekend, and it's just so heartwarming to think like we really are kind of getting not back to normal, but getting to the point where maybe we can like frequently go to Comic-Cons again. It's really exciting and heartwarming. And I, for one, am very excited. I don't know what the first one I will necessarily go to, but you know, it's getting there, which is awesome.
Yes. I saw Fan Expo Boston put up, they've moved their dates to September
Okay.
from August, just to give it like an extra buffer month just to make sure it's going to be all set. And I mean, I see a lot of my friends talking about going, and I'm like, maybe by September I'd think about it. Like, I'm definitely
Yeah,
pushing for my next convention to just be Anime Boston next year when I go to work.
totally.
Like, I feel like okay, that's like a full year. Like, we're good after that. Like, everybody should be for the most part safe.
That, I agree. I agree. I mean, like, there's Rhode Island Comic Con in November, which I feel like if I can, that might be one that I check out. Other than that, I think KatsuCon in February is one that I think it's still in February,
Oh
that I
yeah.
would love to go to. That one I like, I also really love that one. Um, Again, it's like in a hotel, very much like party
Oh
centered,
yeah.
which I love. So that one, but you know, if I get contacted to maybe work one at some point, then I would consider it. But I think like right now, September, October, November, more like the fall is where I'm thinking about a little bit. So
Right,
we'll
right.
see.
Personally, yeah, you're just like,
Yeah, you know, it's.
like, I'm
I mean,
excited, I'm ready, but
I yeah, I live in New York, and New York Comic Con. I'm not super sure what the. I actually don't know what's going on with that. So that could be one, maybe, but I don't actually know what the plan with that one is.
but that
So
probably end up being like a working con for you for like guests and stuff if you did go.
it depends. I mean, I worked it the last year, maybe the year before, and then we we were planning to bring someone to New York like a year ago, so maybe, which would be really fun. I really like working at convention. Um, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll probably go no matter what
Right.
if it is happening, just even for a day to like see friends and stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
So working with all these guests, Danielle, you got any stories you're allowed to share?
I definitely have some I can share. I also have some I definitely cannot share.
I get that.
I can also share stories and not use names.
100%.
That's totally possible. Um,
Gotta love that edit button.
yeah, yeah. Well, okay, so let's see. I think one of my favorite stories is I'm at a convention, well, after a convention, and I'm going to the club with Ron Perlman.
Mm-hmm.
We're at the VIP table.
Jealous, yes.
Yeah, it was like Ron Perlman, myself, and like three of my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm at the, like, I go to the bar, and then there are two actors from Star Wars, and they're like, I'm kind of dancing between them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like a moment where I'm like a little tipsy, and I'm like, is this actually fucking happening? This is actually happening. Like, Ron Perlman's at my table. I'm like doing kind of the fish hook dance with two Star Wars actors. This is wild. And then like that same convention, another actor, like a couple friends and I went up to his hotel room, and we were just like doing shots, and I was like, this is this is weird. This is wild. Um, and then same with like, I think the best thing was Dragon Con. I worked with a couple actors, and like I said, we partied till like 5 a.m. and then like got up the next day. But that was like every night at Dragon Con. And just like it was like a combo of so many amazing things, you know what I mean? Like it was just going to the different raves and the parties. I mean, gosh, that's the thing is like my head is now spinning because I have so many like little random adventures that I've done with
Oh
people.
yeah.
I mean, particularly my favorite person that I've ever worked with is Jeff Goldblum. He's definitely my top person to have worked with.
Oh,
Um,
Goldblum.
yeah, it was just like, I'm walking with him and it's just like we're chatting and we're just talking about because I'm a nanny like in real life.
In real
Uh,
life.
and he has kids, so like we were just talking like nothing about his kids and childcare, and like I was a nanny to two kids at that point, and it was just so nice to just hang out and talk, and I got to meet his kids who were so sweet. um he's definitely the fave person I've worked with. Joey Fatone is someone that I love so much, and he like I've had so many crazy adventures with Joey Fatone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we've, you know, depending on the convention, sometimes we'll end up at a Comic Con in a really small town. Like we went to Colorado Springs Comic Con,
Sure.
so they had like kind of this after event put on by like this local, I don't know, they did like a haunted house. So I was like in this haunted house with Joey Fatone, and this was before, like, actually no, so this was after we were watching some kind of sporting event with Matthew Lillard, Pauly Shore, DJ Qualls, Joey Fatone. Like it was just such a wild. And then we ended up at this like haunted house, going through completely wasted. Like it was wild.
Yeah, no. Up at AAC, usually when Masquerade's going on is when they take all their guests out to either dinner or to like some event to entertain them. Because I mean, everybody's pretty much all hands for the Masquerade event at that convention. And for the
Yeah.
longest time, because the convention's held later in the fall, they would always take them to haunted houses. And I just remember J. Michael Tatum,
Oh yeah.
terrified of haunted houses. And it was just like they'd drag him, and the poor guy was like terrified of clowns. And they would come back like after the fact, we'd all be in green room, and you just see him pouting on a couch. You're like, what did they do? And he's like, look at this picture. And it's just like him like screeching in like an insane clown room. And you're like, oh no, you poor thing.
Poor baby. Oh my god.
Yeah, good stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean it's so good. Or even like, I don't know, like we'll do like casual dinners after the cons and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but my favorite is doing like the casual dinners with voice actors, because we'll just be eating dinner and then they'll start slipping into their different characters' voices, and you sort of forget who all the different, like for instance, Tara Strong is someone that I'm friends with and I've worked with, and we have gotten dinner before or like hung out, and I'll just sort of forget all the different characters that she has voiced,
Mm-hmm.
and she'll just start slipping into different characters. I'm like, oh fuck, right. Like I forgot about all of these.
The nostalgia train just hits you. You're like, ah.
100%, like it just out of nowhere too. So that's always super super fun. Another one of my favorite people to ever hang out with, and is probably my like number one Comic-Con friend, is a guy named Ming Chen. He was on the show called Comic Book Men.
Yep.
And it's just this amazing personality. He's become one of my best friends, and Ming and I, like, we've done so many shows together. He lives in New Jersey. He actually owns a podcast studio in New Jersey, and the adventures that we have had, not just like Comic-Con wise, but like in general, we've gone to speakeasies, we've gone to like restaurants, we've traveled, like we're out till like 4 in the morning. He's actually one that's really tough to hang with at a Comic-Con, because he's also one of those like go out till 6, be up at 8 to work the table,
Mm-hmm.
sort of thing. And you're like, he does it. He used to do shows every weekend. So,
How are you alive?
literally.
Oh god,
Like,
he's that dude that's like at the table and he's like, "Good morning," like nothing happened the night before, and you're sitting there like roadkill, right?
100%, like, I'm wearing sunglasses and be like, oh, good morning, Danielle. I'm like, fuck you. You know what you did. Like,
Get away
you were the
from
one who
me.
made a like, drink last night. And I'm like, fully can't even handle, like, I'm like, I can't handle being at a table right now. Like, and he's like, all right, let's do it. Comic-Con Sunday. And I was like, no, you suck.
No.
He's like, right. And he used to do Comic-Cons pretty much every weekend. He was actually the one that I was talking about that just did a Comic-Con he did Pensacon.
Okay.
He just did Pensacon, so I talked to him like 2 days ago about that, which was really exciting. Yeah, so like he's probably one of my go-to pretty much always at conventions that I will be at. It's pretty much guaranteed that Ming will be at a convention.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm not worried about not seeing Ming.
Right.
During like con season, I'm like, cool, I'll see you next weekend in like Tulsa, or I'll see you next weekend in Charlotte, wherever.
Hiding under a table.
Exactly. So, it's I can't wait to get back to it and kind of see all the different people that I haven't seen in a while.
I know. And the thing is too, it's a whole different like lifestyle and atmosphere, and I just don't think if you've never been to a convention, you don't get it. Like, there's no way to really describe it to people that just aren't convention people. It's like, you have to go and experience it to understand.
At least once. You know what I mean? At least once. And I always say, I'm like, even if you think you're not a Comic-Con person, I guarantee that there will be some part of Comic-Con that you will enjoy.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like, Comic-Cons are TV shows and like live action movies. It's not just video games and stuff.
Yeah, everything. There's everything for everyone, which I really enjoyed. Everyone's so welcoming. Like, if you're trying cosplay for the first time, if you've never been to a Comic-Con, it's one of the coolest fucking experiences ever.
Agreed.
So
totally agree.
Yeah.
Speaking of your cosplay, though, that Danielle cosplay is beautiful.
Thank you. That took, like I said, about 7 months all together to make, and like research and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It again all started at KatsuCon, where like me and my friend and I were talking about costumes that we wanted to do, and I was like, well, I've always wanted to do Danielle de Barbarac, and like obviously my name is Danielle. And Drew Barrymore is an actor that I've been like kind of compared to a lot of my life, so the movie Ever After kind of has been always my comfort movie.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that costume, the silver dress, is so fucking iconic.
So, she only wears it for like 3 seconds. You don't realize it till you watch the movie. Like, she like literally shows up at it, and then it gets like torn off her, and then she's out. You're like, wait.
It's funny because I stared at those photos for such a long time. It's so clear in my head, but then I rewatched the movie on Disney the other day, and I was like, oh, well, fuck. This really is so quick. But yeah, that was, it was a conversation had with a friend at KatsuCon, and then I was like, well, let me look into it more. And I did the research, and I was like, all right, if I commit to this, I can get it done for DragonCon and enter it in the costume contest, which I did. I was nannying at the time, so like I did a lot of the hand sewing while the kids napped. So that was like a lot of the work I did. And then only recently, I was able to get. These are the first photos that I did with Amy that I really have of this costume. I don't have a lot, and I made this costume more than 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had it for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, it's one of those things where you're just like, oh, I don't have any pictures in it. Like, you know that you wore it like a whole weekend, and then like, it's like the typical, I wore this amazing costume all weekend, and it was gorgeous, and I loved it. Did I get a picture of myself? No. Oh, well, yeah, 50 million people took a picture of me, so they'll be all over the internet. No.
And you can't find you can't find one. The thing is I know there are pictures, and I've seen some, but they're from like, they're from the costume contest, so you're like walking off the stage, or... You know what I mean? It's
blurry because you're turning.
Quickly. So I'm really happy we got these photos that we took with Amy, who is an incredible photographer. And I've done so many pictures with Amy before. So that's probably, that is my like best / like proudest work for costume. I will be buried in that fucking dress. Yes. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Well, that I'm taking that to the grave.
100%. 100%. I totally get it. I feel like that
So,
about my Percy costume sometimes. The last one that I made. Just like,
yeah,
yeah.
which is gorgeous.
Yeah, like that's the one. Bury me in the bear fur. Thank you.
Yeah, please and thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's the other thing is like going from there. I'm like, I don't know what to make now. I burned myself out on that costume. You know, I was like, I can't go up from here.
Oh, I know. See, that's the thing though, is you make huge costumes like that, and then you feel like you've peaked for a while. So you're like, well, what else do I make now?
Yeah. You know, I didn't do anything really detailed. I mean, and I haven't done anything super detailed in a while. So I eventually, and I think part of it too is I did start to do Comic Cons more with work. So I wasn't cosplaying as much. So I definitely sort of slowed down with cosplay just because I was like, well, I don't really wear costumes that much anymore at Comic Cons. I did sell a lot of costumes. I also moved to New York about 2 years ago, so that was part of kind of purging a lot of the outfits that I had. I mean, I still have a lot.
Yeah. Oh
but,
yeah.
you know, um,
Oh yeah. I mean,
I
like
have like
even now, like I moved out of my mom's house for like the second time. God, almost 3 years ago now, and there's still 2 closets at her house that are just full of costumes that I need to do something with. They're probably gonna get donated to like a high school group or something at this point, because as much as I like to think I'm ever going to fit in them again.
yeah, I feel that. I mean, my basement at home is probably filled with like anime Boston circa 2008
Yeah,
costumes. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. And like I said, I mean, I can strive to ever be like, and I said, by no means do I feel like, like uncomfortable as I am, because I respect who I am as a person now than what I was like 10 years ago, and very unhealthily thin for my height.
Right.
So it's like I don't want to wear those costumes again, because I shouldn't have been that skinny to begin with.
I mean, it's
It's
also
like you got to move on. It's like my costumes now very much more reflect who I am as a person, and those costumes are
yeah.
more of just like those, you felt like you had to wear 18, 20 costumes at a convention for some reason.
Oh, that was me, 100%.
Yep.
Changing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I had so many. That was a joke. Like they'd be like, "Oh, you look different." Like an hour ago, I always had different costumes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like I
And
would.
I don't. Yeah, I think it's like we have so many that we're like, okay, I don't know when then like my next convention is, so I just have to wear all of them.
And then you're at a convention the next weekend.
Yeah, that's typical.
Typical, yeah. But God,
Yeah,
no.
that's
Like,
it.
I remember weekends I'd bring like 10 costumes. And yeah, like back when like the conventions weren't that busy because they were popular, but they weren't that popular, you can get upstairs
Yeah,
and downstairs in no time, change and come right back. Nowadays, getting an elevator is an act of God.
100%. Did you find though like that you would pack costumes not necessarily to wear, but just for like a photo shoot, and then you wouldn't wear it? You know what I mean? Like you pack it, you do your photo shoot for half a fucking hour, and then that was it for the whole
Mm-hmm.
weekend. You don't wear that costume ever again. You just do it because there happens to be someone that you're friends with that is bringing the character that like you ship with this character. So you're like, great, we'll get great shippy photos for this photo shoot, and then we don't need to wear it again. You know what
Oh
I
yeah,
mean?
oh yeah, like that. I don't know if you just saw them or not. I posted yesterday that Clue group that we did back in 2008.
No, I did not see
I
that.
bought a purple zoot suit off of Amazon to walk around a convention center for 2 hours with my friends and pretend to be like a live action game of Clue.
Listen, I support that, but how many? Like that's the thing. How many times have you been like, "Oh, well, my friends are doing this group. I know nothing about this anime, but I'll research it and do this
Oh
character
yeah.
because my friends are doing it." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. God, I'm thinking in my head. It's like, oh okay. Back when Anime Boston 2005, we had
Uh-huh.
a sensual phrase group.
Okay.
Well, we had Kaikun phrase was the anime, but the anime has never been dubbed for America, so it's just in
Mhm.
Japanese. So I watched an entire show in Japanese with like makeshift subtitles on it, and my friend had me read like all of her like barely translated like bootleg manga for it, which eventually it did get like translated. Um so that we could dress up as this rock band.
Oh my god.
And I was not one character, Danielle, but two.
I mean, even better.
Oh, no, that's not even the best part. When I wasn't the lead singer dressed up, we went into the dealer's room. You remember Harry?
You vaguely,
gorgeous, like gorgeous Harry who worked at like that bootleg table.
Oh yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that everybody fawned over. Yeah, well, guess what we did?
What did you do?
Well, we show up as almost the entire group of Lucifer, which was the name of the band. And they actually, Lucifer turned into a band that was the people that did the music for that show, funny enough. But we dressed up as the characters from the manga anime, and had made the like bands, the armbands that they had in one of like the many stock pictures from that show, and asked him to be part of our group.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And he did it.
And he did.
He did. We got a picture with him. It's very blurry. It's very 2005. And my friends were way more excited about it than I was. But even then I was just like, guys, this seems like... this is next level creepy. Like, I'm not going to lie.
Oh my god.
Oh
my goodness. I mean, I think that was how... I don't know if that was how I got into Princess Tutu, but like, I think... Jess did a cosplay for Princess Tutu, so I was like, well, fuck, I'm going to do a cosplay from Princess Tutu. Mm-hmm. And then I got sucked into Princess Tutu real bad. Mm-hmm. Which is, it's a great show, but it was sort of that thing. I was like, oh, I'll look into it and like do a cosplay from it to like be with my friends. And then I became hooked on that anime.
We're obsessed.
Obsessed. Have you, like, I have a question. Mm-hmm. So, I recently, have you ever had like an anime that you remember watching in high school or whatever, and then you're like, I'm gonna go back to this, and then it's actually fucking terrible, or like the second season you never watched and it's horrific? I'm just wondering. Because I had that experience.
I'm thinking about everything that I watched, and I can't say that I have.
Can I tell you what mine is? And then maybe you can relate.
Absolutely.
Vampire Night.
Which one?
Did you ever watch Vampire Night?
I never got into Vampire Night, but I had to dress up from it for my friends for a group.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely wore that outfit.
Listen, the outfit's great. I remember really liking the first season, or parts of it. So I recently rewatched it, and I was like getting really into the first season, and then like it just was a fucking train wreck. I didn't finish it because it was that painful to watch at one point. And I was like, I should have just left it in my memories as like a cool vampire anime. It should have just died in my memories there. But no, I tried to revive it. But I feel like everyone at some point had that uniform. You know what I mean? Or like you knew a friend cosplayed from Vampire Night because that was huge.
Oh yeah, like I said, there was always the big, like there was, you knew it was big that year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like 1 year it was FMA, 1 year it was God, what was one with all the demons? I don't even think it was an anime, but it was everywhere. Homestuck.
Oh yeah.
For many years it was Hitalia.
Oh yeah. I mean, like also Oran was huge too,
and I was part of that as well. But I mean, at least that was like I knew what was going on situation because I loved Oran.
Yeah. I mean, I think we did Oran cosplay at one point.
Yep.
I mean, I did Hari, and then I think that's like we had definitely took photos in Oran cosplays for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, like, but it's funny because now it's like all the stuff that got me into like anime, like as far as like when I was younger, it's like I didn't cosplay anything from Sailor Moon until 2009 when we did that Dead Moon Circus skit. And I didn't do anything from Dragon Ball Z, which I love Dragon Ball Z, until, God, maybe 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. Like, what was I sitting on? It's like, why didn't I ever do Dragon Ball Z? I love that show.
Right.
And now I'm Vegeta. I love Vegeta. I'm going to say it like on every single blog from now on, because we were talking about that yesterday too. I'm like, I love Vegeta and Bulma. They're my end game.
You're like, I just need to keep that aware all the time.
Right.
Let people know. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool because the bar that I go to, frequently.
Mm-hmm.
Started doing anime night every Sunday. So they're just playing anime all day, and then they do a movie at 8 o'clock. So I am just like living my best life where I got super drunk and just like watched anime most of the afternoon into the evening, and that's been really great.
I love it. I love it. Well, Danielle, thank
Yeah.
you so much for coming on. I've enjoyed every moment of you. Is there anything you would like to promote this week, dear?
Yes. I googled this and I thought about this real hard. I want to make sure. I feel like I always fuck up his name, but I googled it to make sure. I would like to promote the man named Matthew Gray Goobler, because he's a precious human
Mm.
being. The end. And also petition to become his wife. The end.
Ah, very good, very good.
Yeah.
I will find this man and I will start a petition
Google
for
it.
you.
You won't regret it.
I will not regret.
You will not regret that. Promise.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks again, Danielle. We'll definitely have you back at some point, I'm sure.
Oh please, yeah. Once Comic Cons come back, I'll have more and more
That's the
stories.
dream. That's what I'm saying. Like we started this now. I should have done it a year ago and people were trapped more, but now that things are opening back up again, I expect hella stories to start flooding in soon.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go so hard at my first Comic Con that I probably, won't remember some of them, but it's fine.
Next episode, Danielle's on. I went too hard at my next Comic Con.
Yeah, exactly. The end.
I love it. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Have a good night. Thank you so much.